Your attention. Question number 34. Which of the following organs acts as endocrine and exocrine glands? Good. Glands are organs or structures that are found inside our body. These glands are very essential to produce hormones and other useful substances. And these glands can be classified into two. እነዚህ ግላንዶች በሁለት ክላሲፋይ እናደርጋቸዋለን። So glands can be grouped into two basic categories. These are exocrine glands, and then endocrine glands. But what is the basic difference between these two glands? Exocrine glands ከendocrine glands በምንድን ነው የሚለዩት? Very good. በነገራችን ላይ exocrine glands produce useful substances or fluids other than hormone. ስለዚህ እነዚህ ኤግዞክራይን ግላንዶች ሆርሞን ሳይሆን ፕሮዲስ የሚያደርጉት በጣም አስፈላጊ የሆኑ ሌሎች ቦዲ ፍሉዶቹ ፈሳሽ የሆኑ ነገሮችን ኬሚካል ሳብስታንሶችን ፕሮዲውስ ያደርጋል። That's why produce useful fluids or chemical substance other than the hormone. They are not producing hormone. Good. But what kind of useful substance can be produced by exocrine glands? Let's say, for example, we can take saliva. Good. We can take tear, sweat, milk. These different types of body fluids are not hormones. Even enzymes. So let's say, for example, saliva produces types of exocrine glands. Salivary gland. Whereas tear is produced by tear glands. Sweat is produced by sweat glands. How about milk? Milk is very important body fluid which is produced by mammals and which is very essential chemical substance or fluid for breastfeeding. So milk is produced by mammary glands, a kind of gland which is located inside the mammals. And this exocrine gland is very important to produce milk. ስለዚህ ሚልክ ፕሮዲስ የሚያደርገው ማማሪ ግላንድ ነው። ይህም exocrine gland ነው። And then enzymes are produced by different structures inside the body like pancreas. Pancreas is a kind of gland that produces enzymes, let's say, for example. So these different types of glands that produce useful fluids, useful chemical substance other than hormone is said to be exocrine glands. በነገራችን ላይ exocrine glands ሌላ ለየት የሚያደርጋቸው ነገር ምንድን ነው? ዳክት ግላንድስ ናቸው። They have ducts. They have tubular structure. They use tube to transport their product to the place where it's needed. ስለዚህ እነዚህ ኤግዞክራይን ግላንድስ ዳክት ግላንድስ ስለሆኑ they have tubular structure, ቲዩብ አላቸው ወይ ደግሞ ዳክት ያላቸው ስለሆነ እነዚህ ፕሮዳክቶች ፕሮዲስ ካደረጉ በኋላ ወደ የሚፈለግበት ቦታ የሚያደርሱት by using their tube or duct ነው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ዳክት ግላንድስ ብለን እንጠራቸዋለን ማለት ነው። So don't forget that exocrine glands are not producing hormones, but other useful fluids, plus they have tube or duct. This makes them different from that of the endocrine glands. These ductless glands, they have no duct, they have no tube. ስለዚህ እንደዚህ ቲዩብ የላቸውም ዳክት የላቸውም ማለት ነው። That's why these are different types of glands. If they are ductless glands, how they can transport their secretion, their products to the place where it is needed? They transport by using the bloodstream. ስለዚህ እነዚህ ቤዚክሊ ፕሮዲስ የሚያደርጉት ነገራችን ላይ ሆርሞንስ ነው ፕሮዲስ የሚያደርጉት። Endocrine gland produce hormones, but exocrine gland produce fluids other than hormone. How about this one? They produce hormone, but they have no duct. If they have no duct, how can they transport their hormone? By using the bloodstream. ስለዚህ እነዚህ ኢንዶክራይን ግላንዶች ሆርሞኖች ፕሮዲስ ካደረጉ በኋላ ዳክት ስለሌላቸው ያ ሆርሞን ወደሚፈለግበት ቦታ ትራንስፖርት የሚሆነው በብለድ ስትሪም አማካኝነት ነው ማለት ነው። But can you tell me an example of endocrine glands like pancreas? Because it can produce hormones like insulin and glucagon, which is very important to regulate the sugar level of our blood, like pituitary glands, adrenal glands, thyroid glands, parathyroid glands, thymus glands, pineal glands. These are the different types of endocrine glands, the ductless glands that produce hormones and release the hormone directly into the bloodstream to be circulated, to be transported to different parts of our body. ስለዚህ endocrine glands ductless ናቸው. They have no duct. Exocrine glands they have duct. Exocrine glands produce useful substance like saliva, whereas endocrine glands produce hormones. This is the basic difference between exocrine and endocrine glands. But let's come back to our question. Which one is considered as endocrine and exocrine glands? So the answer is pancreas. Because pancreas can produce useful fluids, useful chemical substance, enzymes, and it uses that to transport the enzymes. In this case, pancreas can be considered as exocrine gland. On the other case, pancreas can produce insulin and the glucagon hormones and release these hormones in the bloodstream. In this case, it can be considered as ductless or endocrine gland. ስለዚህ pancreas the endocrine gland the exocrine gland ሆኖ ያገለግላል ማለት ነው። ኢንዛይሞች ፕሮዲስ ትራንስፖርት ለማድረግ it uses duct, whereas hormone transport ለማድረግ ደግሞ it uses what? The bloodstream. In this case, it is both endocrine and exocrine gland. So what's the answer? Which one is endocrine and exocrine gland? Thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, adrenal gland. These glands are all endocrine glands because they produce hormones and they are ductless. But pancreas can be considered as both endocrine and exocrine gland. That's why the answer is pancreas.